Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, reveal the books I bought this week, and somewhere on this episode is a mystery pop-up segment. Where will it be? It's a mystery. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro!
One, two, three, four.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nolly, and I am the Comic Hero. On this episode, I'm observing Memorial Day. Now I'm going to touch base on that later on, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Hey everyone, now this month is also Fibromyalgia Awareness Month. Now fibromyalgia is a long-term condition that involves widespread body pain. The pain happens along with fatigue. It can also involve issues with sleep, memory, and mood. Researchers think that fibromyalgia affects the way the brain and spinal cord process painful and non-painful signals. That increases a person's overall sensitivity to pain. Symptoms often start after a triggering event. Triggers can include injuries, surgery, infections, or emotional stress. Or the symptoms can build up over time with no single event to trigger them. Women are more likely to get fibromyalgia than men. Many people who have fibromyalgia also have headaches, jaw and facial pain due to temporomandibular joint or TMJ disorders, irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, anxiety, and depression. There's no cure for fibromyalgia, but medicines and other treatments can help control the symptoms. Exercise, talk therapy, and techniques that lower stress may also help. Now, I personally know some folks that have fibromyalgia, and I can only imagine what they go through on a daily basis. And I just want to say this. Now more than ever, we need to practice being kind. Because there are a lot of people that are fighting private battles. And it's not just fibromyalgia, it could be any other disorder or condition or disease. So please, sir, please, ma'am, be kind. Alright, this is a Fibromyalgia Awareness Comic Hero tee. If you would like one, you can find them on comicheroshop.myshopify.com for $17, and I will donate half of each purchase to the National Fibromyalgia Association. Alright, on my last visit to Excalibur Comics, I ended up buying some comics that they kept in my box. You're going to see them later on in this episode. But there were three that I saw that weren't in my box that I ended up finding on the shelves. One of them was a book that I'm trying to get caught up on in terms of buying them and reading them. And then there was one that I initially said I wasn't going to read, but then had a change of heart. And then there was one that was a prelude to another mini-series that I'm reading. And I'm going to reveal what those books are, so here we go. First up is All New Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 6. Barbara Gordon Breakout number 1. And finally, Thundercats Silverhawks Road to War. Alright, with those three, that brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 14,595. last week's episode, I asked which metal can both protect Superman from kryptonite and prevent him from using his X-ray vision. Well, the correct answer is lead. And 8 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, your name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this episode of the show is Alicia Williams from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So congratulations, Alicia. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this, because I'm observing Memorial Day on this episode, is a military question, and it's also a Batman question. Well, particularly Batwoman. All right, here's the question: which branch of the U.S. military did Kate Kane, aka Batwoman, serve in? Is it A, the Marines, B, Air Force, or C, Army? All right, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this branch was established on June 14, 1775, making it a year older than the United States. The second hint, of those who have served as U.S. President, 16 of them have served in this branch at some capacity. The third hint, this branch is the last to adopt an official song. The fourth hint, and this is a dead giveaway if you attend NC State or you're a fan of collegiate fight songs. North Carolina State University's fight song uses the same exact melody as this branch's official song. And then the fifth and final hint, and this is a dead giveaway if you're practically anyone, especially if you follow college football or colleges at that matter. This branch has a collegiate academy located in West Point, New York, and their football team plays an annual game versus Navy in December. Yeah, I think you ought to get it. If you don't know the answer to that question by that hint alone, I don't know what to tell you. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Now, due to the length of the mystery pop-up segment that you saw earlier, I'm not going to feature a Throwdown Showdown segment or in any question segment. In fact, I'm not going to feature one on next week's episode either, because there's not going to be just one, but there's going to be 2 mystery pop-up segments. So stay tuned for that. But the mystery pop-up segment not the mystery pop-up, the Throwdown Showdown segment and the any question segment will be coming back beginning on episodes in June. So with all that being said, let's get to the comics I bought this week. Comic books I bought this week. All right, here we go. First up is Absolute Batman number 20. Action Comics number 1098. Captain America number 11. Doctor Strange number 6. Emperor Aquaman number 17. The Fury of Firestorm number 2. Green Lantern Corps number 16. Iron Man number 5. The Mortal Thor number 10. Space Ghost number 11. Supergirl number 13. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 18. Ultimate Endgame number 4. The Uncanny X-Men number 28. And finally, Wolverine number 20. Alright, that's 15, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 14,610. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. And here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Which branch of the U.S. military did Kate Kane, aka Batwoman, serve in? Was it A, the Marines, B, Air Force, or C, Army? Alright, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this branch was established on June 14, 1775, making it a year older than the United States. The second hint, of those that have served as U.S. President, 16 of them have served in this branch at some capacity. The third hint, this branch is the last to adopt an official song. The fourth hint, North Carolina State University's fight song uses the exact same melody as this branch's official song. And then the fifth and final hint, and again, this is a dead giveaway if you're anyone, especially if you're a college football fan. This branch has a collegiate academy located in West Point, New York, and their football team plays an annual game versus Navy in December. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show, and congratulations to Alicia Williams from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this episode. Now, I'm observing Memorial Day on this episode of the Comic Hero Show. Now, Memorial Day is when we honor the men and women that have served in any branch of the U.S. military who are no longer with us, whether they were killed in action, had gone missing in action, are prisoners of war, or died later in life after their services were up. Now, I know some that died later when their services were up, and I know their families, and I also know of some that were killed in action, and I know their families as well. But if you're watching this and you're the family member of a serviceman or a servicewoman who are no longer with us, I love y'all, and this episode is for y'all. And I want to go ahead and say this, but a lot of times during Veterans Day, we often talk about wanting to do more for the veterans, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I also believe that we need to do something for their families as well, especially those who are no longer with us. So if you know of a family whose loved one is no longer with us, visit them. Offer to help them in some kind of way. I believe if we help each other, oh, what wonders we would have in this world. Alright, this is a Memorial Day Comic Hero tee. And if you would like one, you can find them on comicheroshop.myshopify.com for $20. And I will donate half of each purchase to the Wounded Warrior Project. Now, if you're a family member of a soldier or a serviceman or a servicewoman who are no longer with us, and you would like their last name right here, their the branch that they served in right here, and then their branch's logo right here on the left sleeve, I will include them, and I will do so with no extra cost. Alright, here's the road ahead for the show. On next week's episode, to close out the month of May, I'm raising awareness of mental health. And mental health is something that really needs to be occupied now more than ever. And then I'm also going to raise awareness of not one but two mystery. I'm going to have not one but two mystery pop-up segments in which I'm going to be raising awareness of lupus and skin cancer. And then on episode 565, it's back, folks, the Summer of Superheroes. Now I'm still working on a logo. I haven't really. There's been quite a few of them that I'm trying to decide on. I'll come up with an assortment of designs, but as soon as I'm done, I'm going to try to have it done by the next episode, and I'll reveal it at the very end of the episode, and that will be the logo for the Summer of Superheroes. But I can tell you that the first superhero that I'm going to show some love to in this year's Summer of Superheroes is Black Panther. This year marks the character's 60th anniversary, so I will wear a Black Panther comic hero tee in observance, and hope y'all watch. And lastly, I am going to be a vendor at the 11th GeekCon this year. GeekCon is at the Shreveport Convention Center in Shreveport, Louisiana. It's on August 14th through the 16th. I'm going to be there all 3 days. So, and we're going to also have some great guests. Shannon Elizabeth is going to be there, and David Arquette's going to be there. My friend Roland Paris, who is a comic book artist who's been in the biz for a very long time, is going to be there. And then my friend John Stout, who a lot of folks call the Comic-Con Dad, is going to be there. So as Loretta Lynn used to say, y'all come. All right, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Louisiana Delta Content Creators Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. All right, I'm Victor Noli on The Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 564. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.